Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One, coming to you Sunday, November the 28th. The year is 2021. Let's talk trading. It's time for the weekly open and gap. This video is for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine. We've got 2 more days left in this trading month, so let's make sure risk management is in place and you don't lose any more than you're willing to lose on any one single trade. Looking at the weekly, you can see we've gapped down, and there's plenty of gaps that haven't filled. We're putting in the opening range here for the week. We are way below the opening range for the year and for the month. Over 200 pips from the yearly or the opening range low for the year, and for the month we're 347 pips below the monthly open, and about 300 and looks like 306 pips below the low of the monthly open there, monthly open range. Once again, 307 pips below the yearly open. We put in the yearly low this month, last week. 58 pips above that low at the moment, 12 pips above the daily low. So we've only got a 20 pip range here so far today, but we're only 6 hours into the trading day, and we're coming off of that Thanksgiving holiday weekend here in the US of A. Inside bar action, there's really not that much inside bar action at all. Few on the monthly, even fewer on the weekly, and even fewer on the daily. Range, we've got one pair over 100 pips, but none of the others are really that close. The Euro New Zealand's clocking in at 97 at the moment. Okay, we can see here the buy zone, kind of crisscrossing this weekly daily open at the moment. Not much action. First 3 hours, don't really trade the buy zone there. Every now and then you can get a pop, but not usually. And the bias based on the weekly open gap and where the pivot is, we definitely have a long bias here. And not enough range for the rat zones. In fact, the zones are overlapping each other. So we've got the pivot. I can't tell if it's been hit. We'll look on the next chart. Let's see. By the way, there was one trader that contacted me, and I guess they want to see these different levels from previous days on this indicator, but I'm not really sure what that's going to do. If you're trying to do statistical analysis, I would need to write a frequency distribution, which in fact, I've already written a frequency distribution, so you can run that indicator and figure out what you need to know. And the other one is my price travel analyzer will also do that. If I remember correctly, the price travel analyzer is a 2017 donational, but the frequency distributions, I think for the past 3 years, they've been multi-purpose, so they weren't like when I first started writing them, I wrote them for just one function, so I had to write each function. I wrote it as a separate indicator, but then I figured out a way I can put it all into one, and that's what I did, I think in 2018 or 19. So let's go ahead and take a look at the pivots. Oh, and another trader asked for this template, so I posted it over on Crestlick.com in the MT4 Motherloads thread. See, we've got these 2 missed pivots from 4 and 5 days ago. I don't know if they'll get taken out this month or not. So we've already taken out the daily pivot. For some strange reason, I thought the daily pivot was above the open. It looks like it was actually below. The weekly is above at 33.58. And you can see the last pivot at 34.50. 50 wasn't taken out either. So we've got a missed pivot here and a missed pivot from 4 weeks ago. So we've got 3 missed pivots for 2021 so far. And on the monthly, we took that pivot out early in the month. So I'm thinking the future monthly pivot's going to probably be somewhere around maybe say 34.50 area. Possibly. We'll see in a couple of days where that pivot lands. The wick zones, no wick zone action as of yet. And the range, well, last week we only clocked in at 172, was like right dead center. So not much range happening. And let's see, we are, as far as the week goes, last week we're 113 pips below last week's high and 59 pips above last week's low. So we'll have to wait and see if price breaks out of the previous week. We could have an inside bar week again, but let's just see what happens. And 2 weeks ago we had an inside bar, and you can see here price broke below that low and just smashed right through it. On the Walmart lines on the price action simple chart here, you can see we just don't have any range here. So this is kind of like, don't even look to trade these lines, because you can see here there's just not enough range for the price to cut across. So wait a few more hours for London probably to kick in. Usually Monday, the Asian session, Australian session, there's just not that much action usually. Sometimes there is, if there's some news or something coming out, or something's happened over the weekend to make the markets want to get jittery. And notice the last ball put in was a 3 ball at the top. So we'll see what happens here. And looking at the lowest high, highest low, for some reason I set that on a M1 chart. Not really sure why I did that. But you can see here, even with the spotty action, you put a 3 ball in the bottom, took the crossover, and that could have been good for a few pips. And you can see right here, we've got a drop here on the M1 off of that highest low. And it's really interesting. This highest low, lowest high, mainly I'm doing on the 1 and 5, but I mean, you can move it up to the daily. And I need to change one thing to show what I'm talking about. This has the, let's just put that on current. And so you can see here this lowest high. I've been noticing that on the cryptos, especially, like been watching with Bitcoin, if you want to trade this trade, you can see here, even on the pound, if you would have taken that trade, it took a while, but it definitely materialized. Once again, these videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine. So coming off a 3 ball here at the bottom, taking this trade here at the 33.53 area, if price could continue, could make a nice run, might be worth 100 pips or so. It's just something to look at. You can also look at it on the weekly. You can see what happened here weekly. The highest low here, that paid off. You can look at it on the monthly. You can see the same thing was true there. And we can even check it out on a few other different pairs just to see if it holds true or not. Especially, there's the month. Let's go back to the daily. And so, we're looking over the last 34 bars. And right here we had a highest low. on the euro. Seemed to pay off. We had a lowest high a couple days ago. That paid off. I bet dollar yen's going to look pretty interesting. In fact, I think I might have said something in a video, and I am really kicking myself when I saw this setup and didn't take it. I mean, that you're talking about 200 pips. That would have been a sweet trade. Let's take a look at dollar Canadian. So you can see here once again that lowest high. You got a lot of crisscross action. Definitely some drawdown, but I mean, it's just one of the things where if you took it and you caught it just right, and you applied your take profit, it definitely launched. And another thing to look at is, remember I told you about the turn trade. Well, here's a turn trade here, here's another turn trade, and another, and another, and here's another, and price just kept going up. Look at the dollar franc. Oh, there was another huge drop right there. But once again, you can see how this plays out. It might be something, the traders who can't trade, sit in front of the charts because they have to go to work. Something that you just might want to consider, this type of trade. And it, once again, it's so simple. You don't even need an indicator. You just look at the chart and say, okay, well, here's the lowest high out of, however far back you want to go. But really, you can see the three ball and say, okay, where's the highest low after the three ball? It's right there. Would have made you money. And then where's the lowest high after the three ball? Well, first it would have been here, and then it was there, and then it triggered. And you can see there's usually a couple of days, at least almost one day, where it oscillates, and then finally it decides to go one direction or the other. You can go back through these. In this particular case, that wasn't a three ball. The three ball was down here, but you can see what happened. And then, did it put in any lower? I think this was about the lowest high there. But it was just something that I saw. Then I, wrote an indicator to plot it. And you can also use TRO, HL5, to plot the lower, high, or lows. You don't have to use the donational. It's just one of those trades that you just might want to consider, though. I'm trying to remember, was there any other questions? Oh, yeah, there was another trader that wanted me to make another modification to something. But traders, boys, girls, non-binary traders, you have to be very specific and precise, because if you want me to code something, I have to be specific and precise with the computer. So if you give me nebulous instructions, I can't code it. And really, a lot of times I see people wanting to do, I don't know, eye candy kind of stuff. And unless you can tell me how this is going to make money, why should you be doing it, and why should I be doing it? I mean, that's what we're here for, is to make money. So, like when I set up a system like this, a simple method, it's to make money. And how do you make money? Well, when you see it set up, you take all these shorts, and sooner or later it pays off. Whether you're doing it on the daily time frame or on the 1 minute. I mean, here just a couple of minutes ago, we put in a higher low. If you take in that short, you'd be up, a whole pip, right? Yeah, big deal. Point is that you can make this work if you want to. So, fellow traders, I hope you had a fun and safe weekend. And when you come back to your trading platform, always remember, never forget, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. This is the Rumpled One, over and out.